When I founded Forge Wealth Management, I created a firm that aims to put our clients' interests first. Our clients are our priority. We create customized financial plans tailored to your needs and deliver them in a clear and concise manner. We are committed to our relationship with you and want to be part of your life journey. Welcome to Forge Wealth Management. We look forward to meeting you.
Hey everybody, I'm back. It's Marcia again, Marcia O'Connor with Shadow Her Podcast. And you know what? We love our women entrepreneurs out there. And today is an amazing podcast we have stored for you. We have a wonderful individual who started her own company only actually a couple of months ago and want to hear her story of how she's doing it. So welcome to the stage, everybody. Rachel League. She is actually the CEO of CFO for All. Rachel, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel. I'm the founder of CFO for All. It's an AI-guided financial management software that's improving liquidity and business outcomes for small and medium-sized companies. I've always been drawn to helping others find their voice in the business world, so I'm super excited to be here today and talk all things entrepreneurship with you. So thank you so much, Marcia, for having me.
You're welcome. And then, but let's go back, though. You've always been interested in the entrepreneur side of the house. Why is that?
You know, I think I've always had a little bit of an entrepreneurial bug in me because I see myself as pretty evenly split left brain, right brain. I have both the more businessy analytical side, but I'm also a creator and a builder at heart. For a little bit of context, my background, when I was at Georgetown, I studied finance accounting, but I was also very involved in the performing arts and a cappella. And I've continued to balance those things throughout my career and personal life. My professional background was in private equity, and that's where I was honing more of those analytical skills with the financial analysis, evaluating business models, identifying growth opportunities. And a lot of those have been invaluable to building CFO for All. But what really got me thinking about entrepreneurship was actually when I moved earlier in the investment cycle to work at Harbinger Ventures. It was a VC that was focused on investing in female-founded consumer packaged goods companies. And I was seeing all of these amazing entrepreneurs facing financial management challenges because they frankly just didn't have the right resources and support. And so as a board observer for my portfolio companies, I was often stepping in, helping them with the kind of financial analysis they needed. And that's really when I had this idea that I could translate the insights that I was doing manually into a more scalable software so that I could help more businesses succeed and frankly, more innovators that I saw similar to myself just help their companies succeed. And that's really what was the impetus for CFO for All. And right now, I'm pursuing my MBA at Wharton while I'm also building this company. And Wharton has been a great environment for me to learn not only about how to build a business from more of that analytical, data-driven perspective, but also kind of what it means to build a good life and building it as an entrepreneur. And so I find that it's a place where I'm constantly learning, and one of the biggest things that I've learned so far is that doing something meaningful, something that's helping others like CFO for All is really what's keeping me excited about the entrepreneurial journey.
Oh my God. And so I guess the biggest question is, do you sleep?
Yes, I do sleep. And I think sleep is very important, though maybe I don't always prioritize it. But the balancing act of life is not about having everything be equal all the time, but sort of recalibrating the buckets. So yes, I sleep, but I do like to keep busy. And like I mentioned, having that balance of the more, analytical business piece with the performing side of things. I am sort of a creative artist also at heart. So I do a lot of things like I perform in a band as a singer. I'm in the school musical. I did some community theater before coming to school. So just any form of creative expression. And part of what I'm trying to do with CFO for All is really blend my love of the creative side of things with some of the more business skills that I've learned. So trying to keep those in balance.
Oh, I love that. It's hard to do. It's really hard to do, especially when you're trying to do everything and then trying to get it off the ground. So how long did it take you? Because obviously when you're in the venture side of the house, you work with a lot of companies and working with their financials and getting to know those pieces. And you saw a need for this application. How long ago did you start thinking of it before you started putting the plan together?
Yeah. The idea came to me as I was working firsthand with a lot of my portfolio companies. Um, I was working with them sort of in tandem with their outsourced CFO consultants, who were the resources that they had available to them because of they were spending a lot of their other capital on trying to grow their business in a different way. And so I was sort of supplementing the financial analysis that they needed. And I was seeing that, frankly, they were getting more like bookkeeping services versus the strategic CFO level insights. And the ability to provide that to them was something that I felt was actually adding a lot more value. And so I had the idea there, but I didn't really get started on building it out and fleshing it out until I got to Wharton. And I took the time both in some of my entrepreneurship and innovation classes to flesh out the idea more fully. But it was also in participating in some pitch competitions, and placing or winning some of those was giving me some confidence and momentum in the idea. And then I had the idea to apply to some accelerators. And that was really a game changer for me in terms of getting access to mentors who were helping me refine the vision, giving more confidence that the idea really had some legs. And then I spent last summer in between my two MBA years actually working on the software development side of things, in addition to making it a real business, getting incorporated and getting all of the sort of admin and legalese in order. So we built our first MVP, tested it with our pilot user, and honestly, getting that feedback helped us learn what was working, what wasn't, iterating quickly. And now I feel like I'm really moving towards more serious product development. I've hired a development shop to help us get a commercially viable product going, which is a huge milestone. And
huge.
then thinking about expanding the team, really want to bring on a lead engineer to help scale on the product side and move things forward. So I would say the process of making it a business has been moving from idea to tactical testing sort of over the last year and a half or so. I guess you could say July 3rd, our incorporation date, is the official start, but I think it's been percolating for much longer than that.
Wow. Now, how did you come up with the name CFO for all?
So it's funny. I was in a really fantastic class taught by Sergey Nissen at Wharton called Innovation. And it's basically a pitch tournament where all 80 students of the class have to come up with an idea kind of overnight, give a 60-second pitch. And then as the class progresses, the ideas are winnowed down and more people join your team. So it was really, I had this idea in my heart, but I hadn't thought of a name, and I kind of just had to come up with something overnight. And it felt like it was pretty self-explanatory. And I really did want this to be something that helps equalize entrepreneurship. So the idea of for all, and basically like a robo CFO that's a CFO tool that's helping as many people as possible really stuck out to me. But frankly, if you ask any entrepreneurship professor, they will say that the idea should be something more like a Klaviyo that's unique and it's its own word that helps with your IP protection. So I love the name, but I don't, I think what's in a name is something that you can figure out over time. So I love it, but I think there's, a lot that can be worked on with naming things.
Oh, absolutely. But it like sort of sticks with you for a while too. But, so when someone, walk us through though, like if you get a client, what does that client look like? Is it an entrepreneur? Is it the CFO? And then what do you do afterwards with that? Like, how do you basically work with them? How do you, have them use your platform?
Yeah. So our most ideal customer profile is probably somewhere in the range of generating, say, 1 million to 10 million of revenue. It could be smaller than that, certainly, but really focused on those companies that are sub 10 million, because 10 million tends to be, at least within the consumer goods space, the point at which before that they're allocating most of their capital towards growing the business. And so they're not hiring a full-blown CFO that's trained not only in accounting, but operations and strategic analysis. So those are the ones that have the most acute need. We're also focused on consumer goods to start, one, because that's a lot of where I had firsthand work of sort of understanding what do those companies need, but also that's where a lot of my network is, and wanting to build a product that is really specific to a specific kind of clientele so that we are building something that is unique for them versus just even though it's called CFO for all, the idea of you still, if it's for someone or for someone's unique business, it has to be tailored enough to be differentiated and helping them in a unique way. So
Right.
wanting to start with those companies. And the process thus far has really been about honestly spending a lot of time understanding our users' needs specifically and what are the ways in which our platform, particularly given the fact that we are still working on building it out. We did have an MVP built, but we are honestly going through the commercially viable product building piece right now. And a lot of that is informed by my customer interviews. So the actual onboarding process is pretty seamless once we've got all of that sorted. It's QuickBooks API connection that takes less than 3 minutes, frankly, to set up from the user's perspective. And then from there, it starts showing them data visualizations, both in table format and more graphical format, and then also producing natural language summaries of what's going on in the financials, as well as producing actionable insights and next steps that they can take, much like how a CFO would bring not only an analysis of your historical financials, but also strategic suggestions on how to move your business forward with whatever your ultimate goals are.
Wow, that's exciting. And then how do you stay sticky?
I think part of what has helped me differentiate, particularly as I explain the idea, and one of the things that really stands out when I'm explaining it to potential investors or to my mentors is the idea of the empathy that we're building into the product. So this isn't just another dashboard creator that doesn't understand that you are a real human trying to understand your business that you care about. That emotional empathy piece we're trying to weave in this natural language summary format and in your interactions with the platform, because the need that we're really addressing, even though, yes, we want to have these tactical, tangible outputs of, okay, what do the financials mean? What do I do with them? But it's also this, I don't want to say lack of confidence, but a little bit of the uncertainty of maybe the financial piece isn't why you started the business, or it's not your most sweet spot of how you spend your day. Like you're a consumer goods innovator, so you care about the food products that you're putting on the shelf or the beauty brand that you're helping to put out there. And so that's where your heart is. That's where you really light up. And this is a place that maybe causes a little bit of fear and insecurity for you. And we want to give you the relief that, one, the financials are handled, and two, that you really do understand your own numbers, because there's nothing like preparation to make you feel good about whatever you're doing. And so if we can alleviate some of that stress, I think that's really tapping into the emotional element of our users, more so than any dashboard that could give you, 100 good ideas would.
Wow, good for you. And then, obviously, when you said you had found a developer, how did you do that? That is not easy to do.
Yeah. Well, I've been really fortunate that in this pursuit of honestly going out and trying to find support of all kinds, the accelerators that I've done in particular have provided me with excellent mentors and resources and a really good expanded network from the people that I met through them. So I participated in a handful of Mass Challenge based out of Boston, BFPX through University of Pennsylvania, Ballard Spars base, and a handful of others. And I actually found my developer by I was doing a lot of outreach within those networks and within the University of Pennsylvania entrepreneurial ecosystem, getting lots of recommendations. But I was lucky to be at a Mass Challenge event called the Innovation Conference based out of Dallas, where I just happened to sit next to the founder of Jump Growth, which was an outsourced dev shop based out of Dallas. He was one of the keynote speakers. We had been chatting, waiting for some of the other speakers that day, sort of got to know each other, and I was sharing what I was looking for without really even knowing that he was the keynote speaker. And then just in getting to know him and he understood a little bit more about my business, we were able to keep in touch from that kind of connectivity. And he called me up maybe about a month or so ago saying that they were offering a 1-week discount trial period during December. And so that really helped get the ball rolling. And because Jump Growth had already been vetted by Mass Challenge, which is this really incredible growth accelerator that is actually global. I felt like I could trust that Jump Growth was a really great place to start, particularly given that my background is in finance accounting, not in the technical side of things. So it basically had that stamp of approval from an organization that I had come to know and trust, that helped me feel confident, because I'm spending real dollars now against the development. Before this, when we built the MVP, I'd been really fortunate to use either some of the grant funding that I'd gotten from the school and or some of the student talent that the school was supporting. So have been able to do it basically fully bootstrapped with super low cash burn. And now in using an outsourced dev shop, I wanted to make sure that I was going with a firm that I could trust to do a good job. And we're still early days, but I'm excited that for all like the learning that I've had in working with them, and so far so good. So
Yeah, it's always hard to put faith into somebody that you don't really know, but you know you need. And we're going to talk about that in a second. We take a quick break. So forget everybody. I'm Marcia O'Connor. This is Shadow Her podcast here with Rachel League. Stay tuned for more. Hang in there. Hold on, guys.
Ready to redefine your talent strategy? Let's make Redefine the word of the year for your success. Introducing RAS, Recruitment as a Service. Outsource your talent strategy with the O'Connor Group. Our four-tiered approach was crafted to align with your business, whether you're launching a startup or leading a thriving corporation. Our cost-effective solutions are designed to elevate your business and enhance your people strategy, ensuring scalability and strategic growth. Redefine your recruitment strategy with RAS.
Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Marcia O'Connor with Shadow Her podcast, and today we actually have an amazing guest, Rachel League. She just recently actually started her own company, CFO for All, and was talking about, spending money and putting money into like developers and things like that. And, where does this money come from besides grants? And we're getting into basically now it's coming from the pocket, and what that really means with a startup and all too. So let's talk about that, Rachel, regarding what's next for you. I'm sure you have a business plan where you see yourself going in 25. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, the thing that we're really focused on now, we've had a lot of really good learnings, and honestly have put in a lot of sweat equity more on the business side of things, fleshing out the plan, getting some momentum going with potential customers. And now it's really building products as quickly as possible so that we can go back and test it with our users. I think one of the most important things that I've heard in my entrepreneurship classes, and that's really proved out for me in my experience, is that staying close to the customers is the key to success. And now I'm really ready to have a material product to do that with.
So exciting to see that. When you start doing that, how do you know it's a lot of work on you? Do you have more people? Are you hiring more people? What's the plan of action for that?
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly thinking about and making tangible steps to be building out the team. Something that I've learned throughout this process is that people are the most important thing of anything that you do. So whether that's the team that you're working with, the community that you're building around you, just even staying deeply connected to the people you're serving, like I mentioned, it's all about relationships. And so I am looking to bring on a lead engineer or a CTO type role that can help on that product pieces. I think that's really important so we can balance skills in our respective areas. And I want somebody who is similarly passionate about helping others and really is excited about this idea of equalizing entrepreneurship. Because I think if we have the same end goal in mind, that can help us be a little less stuck to what is the plan and more, how do we be flexible to achieve that ultimate goal?
Yeah, there are so many startup groups that are out there for entrepreneurs. And I could tell you, like with Shadow Her, one of the things behind Shadow Her is that it's a 6-month course about operations, and finance is definitely one of them. And I could tell you, every time we bring up finance, I think everybody's more afraid to even put their head up. Sometimes we're going to pick on them when we talk, but they just don't know what they don't know. And it sounds as if like you've got a really good system to help them get through all that. But there are groups that are out there, like for example, EO, Entrepreneurs Organization, which would probably be a great spot for you to be in, because majority of those businesses are probably 10 million and below. And, and they don't really always focus on their CFO and accounting side like they probably should. But definitely a spot for you to get more involved with. But you can spend your time doing all these different areas and stuff like that, and just figuring out what's best for you. The pitches are definitely going to be helpful. They're a lot of time, but they are definitely helpful. And the grants are going to help too with that. But it's just figuring out, you only started like last July. Did you think you'd be this far this quickly?
It's funny, some days I wake up and I think, wow, we really have accomplished a lot. But I find more often than not, I wake up and think about all the things that I haven't yet done,
Yeah.
and try to think about how I can move faster. And like we said, life is kind of a balancing act, and how do you continue to live as a whole person, but still give as much as you can to your business. And so
It's hard.
I appreciate the compliment, how much we have accomplished, and I do think it's important to reflect on those wins. But I honestly think more often than not, there's so much more that I could be doing, and I wish that I were 10 steps ahead of where I am.
And in a few years you will be. And, just make sure you make a journal of all this and all, because sometimes I look back, I've been around 17 years at my own business, and you sit back, you're like, oh, you forgot, like, oh my God, I do all Excel spreadsheets for like literally everything, and now we have systems, and you're like, oh, that's right, we have systems. And you forget quickly I would say the journey of getting to where you're at, and you don't realize it until someone brings it back up to you, and you're like, holy crap, I forgot all about that stuff and all. So you have a lot on your plate, a lot on your shoulders. You're getting your MBA, you have a business. How are you taking care of you?
Yeah. I think having your community, finding it or building it, is super important.
Yeah.
It's your community isn't just your business connections. It's your friends, your family, your therapist, your faith community, really anyone that supports you in the whole person that you are. And sort of building that tribe in a more holistic way, I think, gives you the strength to help navigate what is the high highs and low lows of entrepreneurship. And I think having a more multifaceted identity, you can't just identify with one part of yourself, your career, your entrepreneurial journey. If you do that, it's really a lot easier to crumble if something challenging happens that undermines that piece of yourself. And so something that I've come to learn is that the career is a big part of who I am, but it's not the only part. And it's certainly not the reason that my friends and family love me. And so I kind of think of it like the legs of a stool. If you only have one and that breaks, then, or, the whole thing falls apart. But if you've got multiple legs, then you can more easily bear up under the stress when one isn't as solid. And that for me has helped me get a more holistic view of myself and getting my self-worth from multiple angles. And, entrepreneurship is definitely one of those paths where you're going to hear a lot more no's. You're going to face roadblocks, have a lot more setbacks, maybe frankly than any other career, except probably acting.
Yeah,
people deal with that a lot. But the thing is, if you know who you are and you know what you're doing and what really matters to you, then the rest sort of comes along and you can figure it out along the way. And I think that resilience is frankly built from understanding that your value isn't tied to just that one part of your life.
It's hard though. It's hard for a lot of people to grasp that. It's hard to let go. It's hard to hire other people. I mean, you're definitely, I think, way ahead of the game. So kudos to you, and listening to your mentors out there, because they know what they're doing. I always found that there wasn't as many avenues when I first started out as they are today. Like today now, entrepreneur is a cool word, but entrepreneur 17 years ago was like, you sure you want to do that? And so it's a different mindset nowadays, but it's interesting to see where you want to take it. But like I said, take care of yourself and manage the different pieces. What would you suggest? Because so many women entrepreneurs, or even soon to be entrepreneurs, listen to this podcast intently. And what would you say, is just a top, little pearls of wisdom? What would be one pearl of wisdom that you would basically tell them?
I think don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help, guidance, support. And be thoughtful about how you can also help the people that you're reaching out to. You
Yeah.
can look for warm connections within your own network, but if you can't find them, don't hesitate to do the cold outreach on LinkedIn or other platforms. I learned this skill, or really had to test it through working in VC, where I was leading the pipeline portfolio work, and not everything was a yes, but that really got me comfortable with doing cold outreach. And now that served me really well as an entrepreneur who, as a team of one, I do need help and resources and insights from others. And I'm kind of shameless in my ability to just like get out there, whether it's an in-person networking event or cold outreach on LinkedIn, and just asking people if they would give me the time of day. And you can also think about who in your network maybe knows somebody else that has the expertise you need. So it doesn't always have to be the scary cold outreach. But if you have a genuine question, that's usually the one that's most well received. I think people can sense if you're being authentic, or if you're seeking the advice the right way. But you also have to keep in mind that building true connection does take time. So
Yep.
the more that you're putting yourself out there, the more you're being authentic, the more people are just going to be willing to help you succeed.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. And I remember when I very first started, I literally think I spent half my time doing referrals for other people. And I kept saying I was getting angry sometimes because I needed to put food on the table. I was the breadwinner, and it got really angry. So I kept saying to myself, it'll pay off, it'll pay off. And lo and behold, there are people that reach out to me today, like, you don't remember me, but I remember you helped me way back when. So I need this in my business. Can you help? And it's funny how it does come full circle. But I do believe that you got to reach out and, touch someone, as they say, AT&T it. But, don't be afraid to ask for help, because I think women are so like, well, I can't show them that I'm weak. And it's not about being weak. It's about saving you a lot of time because you didn't know something.
Yeah.
So by all means. So what do you do? Obviously, you do a lot of singing, you act, you have MBA, you have a business, so, you have plenty of time. So I'm sure you read books, or you listen to books. What do you do? Do you read or listen, or both?
I like to do both. I find that I'm always kind of on the go. My friends make fun of me for being a super power walker. So I like to listen to my books on my power walks to school,
Mm-hmm.
and back around. But I recently actually read a physical copy, which I think is also great to just take time to slow down and sit yourself down and not be rushing everywhere. To read Range by David Epstein. And this one really stuck with me. It's talking about how being a generalist, someone with a broad range of interests, can really actually give you an edge in problem solving and creativity. And that spoke to me because I've always had a big variety of interests, as we talked about, from finance to the arts. And Range reinforced for me the value of exploring different fields and skills rather than just sticking to one narrow path. And it's a reminder that the diverse experiences that I've had, maybe they don't, just like you talked about, some of the things that you're doing, you don't know how they play into the bigger picture of your career success, but some of those things really shape who we are and can lead to unexpected perspectives and ultimately lead to advantages, particularly when it comes to entrepreneurship. I always think about how throughout my life, three core themes for me have been, I call them my three C's: courage, care for others, and creativity. And I've been able to express those by having a wide range of interests. But ultimately, those three themes come through and actually are sort of the tying thread between all of that great range that I've pursued.
I think that's so great. Two of we have four core values, and two of them are C's: curiosity and collaboration. And we've collaborated on everything here. And you have to be curious. You have to, like, when I hear from people, they want to basically, I love solving puzzles. I'm like, oh, you're a perfect fit for us, because that's what we do 24/7 around here. But it is interesting. You got to figure out, when you build your company, what do your core values look like? And maybe those C's will be part of your core values. You know what I mean? Because they mean so much to you, where you want to take this company. So it's all good stuff to have. But I'm the same way. I do both. I do books, mostly Audible. And it sounds funny because it sounds like a mini me here. I love super walking, especially when I was in school.
Yeah.
That's how I would learn all my classes and all too. I would put everything on index cards, and I would have it in my head. That I swear that's how I passed accounting in the first place. But but it's what you do, and I love to super walk. And my team yells at me now because I walk too fast, but I'm like, well,
I can relate. I can
right?
relate.
Yeah. I have a certain timeline. I got to get done. I got to get this in and I got to get this many miles.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm the same way. It's so funny. Well, Rachel, thank you so much for being on the show today. It was so good to see you. And I'm just so proud of you. And you're going to do some really great things out there. I'm going to see your name out there. How do people get a hold of you?
Well, thank you again so much for having me. This was so much fun. And in terms of getting in touch, I would say LinkedIn is a great place. You can find me at Rachel League. You can follow CFO for All on LinkedIn. We also have our website, cfoforall.net. And my email is just rleague@wharton.upenn.edu, or you can also reach me at rachel.league@cfoforall.net.
Easy as pie. Absolutely. So other people who are starting out there, just reach out to Rachel, to ask a quick question and all too. The one thing I found out that entrepreneurs always have time for entrepreneurs. We just do. And because we've all been there and had our own story. But if we can help you out, anything too on Shadow Her side of the house too, we'd love to have you. But I'm looking forward to seeing you more, hopefully. And we'll get you going. Everybody out there, thanks for listening. Thanks for listening, taking a part of our Shadow Her success and our podcast here. Listen to wonderful, stories that Rachel brings to the table. Don't forget, everybody, we believe in you. We care. So it's just, we believe in you, and you should too. But it takes a tribe. Get that tribe around you. Feel comfortable with that tribe, and we're here for you. If you reach out anytime, we'll hopefully get back to you. But like I said, take care of you out there. Like I said, believe in you because we do. And that's it. I'm Marsha O'Connor, Shadow Her Podcast. Until next time, keep on being an entrepreneur, everybody. Take care.